Peace, peace. Proud episode of Through Knowledge Radio, place where knowledge on host, knowledge won't lie. And we're here after 12 o'clock. And know how I get after 12 o'clock. But today, I don't want to start the day today. Today, that's here. And the question is, what is the reason for your? So before bringing my soul sister Sass, a Shwa Lewi Sass.
Shalom, shalom.
I want to read this. What you call it? Shalom, soul sister. I want to read this proposed definition of speech. It's reported to be defined as the expression of or the ability to express feelings by articulate sounds. There's a sentence that's used here. He was born deaf and without the power of speech. The second definition is a formal address or discourse delivered to an audience. Now look at these two definitions here. It says the expression of, when you express yourself. Now look at that. You can look at it and say whether it's verbal or nonverbal. The expression of or the ability to express thoughts and feelings by articulate. Further down in it, it speaks to your ability to use logic to articulate things in a manner using sound. So you go from functionality to purpose now of speech. Here, as it speaks to, it says a formal address or discourse delivered to an audience. Something else. It says business is a contact sport. Number one fear. It says public speaking is Americans' number one fear before death and loneliness, weighing in at number 7. Public speaking. So, sister, you agree with that?
Yes, I agree.
That's interesting. Public speaking. Death is number 5. People than they are. D-Red, what it do? What's going on? So I'm looking at this, and this is very, very interesting. There's so much fear. Disorder now. The fear of speaking in public. Glossophobia. That's interesting. The research question, what is the reason for your speech? Why do you speak? There's a reason for your speech. Is the reason strong for you to allow your voice to be heard? Or will you simply suffer in silence? So according to, however this was statistically there is an issue among people speaking. I'm glad D Red is here. I gave you, I think D Red, like the second person I gave it. We started Do Now's radio like 5 and I went on his platform, him time, and I described my birth story. I described my birth story. Uh, Videos weekend. It took place uh 2000, and in that video, the first time and the last time, out of all of this, my mother spoke at, I had the opportunity to introduce her. And then I got to introduce my mother. I saw my mother get awards most of my life for her really gay reality and teaching tools to eliminate waste that is taking over space and in that key system. Teaching people about inherited weaknesses in the body and how to strengthen those key systems in the body. Something she did for over 30 years. And this one chance I got to and give her an opportunity platform to be seen by the globe. In that space, this is a space for oftentimes I went a couple of places and it's like you do what you do. And I'm brought back to that time. I don't often share that, but often that first and last time I got a chance to introduce my mother in the public. And in essence, introducing my mother to the globe. And I didn't think of the magnitude of it. And this is that occurrence. And so what I'm saying, I gave my birth story and the conditions of my birth with my brother D Red, on his platform. That was interesting. So if you're looking at what's the reason for your speech, one of the things that the most honorable was the conditions around a thing coming are the thing that sort of dictate those dominant factors in that being. I'm paraphrasing him. That's not him word for word. So he said that to talk into being did not come into being as we did. Use a cognitive behavior approach to some delusions. That was very interesting. That he speech, the speech, and then we catalyst with public speaking, and everybody has devices. They speak all the time. On the phone. Everybody's live every damn where, no matter what is going on. It's like 6,000 live at one time. Everybody's live. Something. They doing these TikTok, doing all of these challenges. So we're in divide in regards to the point that where it's a diagnosis in the mouth into other words. So I want to start this right here. Some people believe that the fear of standing up in public is about setting yourself up to be shot down. Do you think that's valid, Sister Sass?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the last sentence? I'm sorry. I was clicking through screens.
So some people believe that fear of standing up in public is about setting yourself up to be shot down.
It depends on what you're talking about. Because for me,
Well,
standing up and speaking in front of, go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, because me standing up and speaking in front of people, if I'm confident about what I'm talking about, I wouldn't think that. But if I wasn't confident about it, or something about the crowd that's throwing me off, I mean, it's a
Mm-hmm.
natural fear. It causes me anxiety. Like I have like a freaking panic attack. But
Mm.
I don't know if it's about the opinions of the people. It's just, I guess, being the center of attention, I guess, and having the confidence. When I'm sure of myself, I don't really have a problem. But if I'm struggling with the material, then yeah, I'm having issues.
What would make you comfortable speaking in public, and what is something that would make you uncomfortable speaking in public?
Um, the number of the crowd, if it's like very large, I'm having I'm having like a panic attack. It's scary being in front of a sea full of people. I remember I was the president of PTA, and my first time speaking in front of the PTA. I mean, it was just so many people, and I started forgetting what I needed to talk about. But I mean, I did learn from that, from the first time from doing that, is that I wasn't prepared. I think that's what it
Mm.
was. So my preparation was off. I just thought I could just get up there and do what I needed to do. But I was candidly called up. Like I wasn't expected to speak, but I was called up there. So that was another thing.
Mm.
So I didn't have my stuff together. So I guess in that regard, it probably would bother me about what people would think about me. Maybe in that instance, and the fact that I'm not a natural, speaker. Like I'm not like you could just, randomly get up and just start talking and stuff, and even make people laugh. Like, like, I don't. It's a gift.
What's
It
a
definitely is a gift.
what's a natural?
A person that could just get up and start talking can work a room.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I mean, you do that, and I mean, with no script. I need a
There's
script.
an art.
I have to be in the mirror
There's an
practicing.
art. There's a science. I mean, those things happen. You know, those things they happen. You know, there are things that you can work on if this was a priority for you to speak. They have all these speaking schools, they have speaking courses, they have people who have all of these,
There
bona
you
fide
go.
get you gig to speak. Like no, they have those things that are out there. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I know.
And and that comes into the realm of sales. Came into the realm of sales. That's a
Yeah, I can't sell
subset.
nothing.
That's a subset of society that's very dominant, but it's done in such a manner you don't know you're being sold. They use the art of manipulation.
Right.
They're
And that's
mag-
something
they're,
I can't
they're
do.
magicians. They're magicians,
Right.
not to be confused with con artists and pickpockets. They're magicians. The ability to transmute something before your very eyes. That's a talent, that's a skill, but it takes hard work, it takes dedication, it takes sacrifice, all of these things. So now we're looking at achieving a goal because all of these things come in part to achieving a goal. It's the same responsibility. In honor of my mother, I'll take a moment and share a story.
Yeah, you good at those storytellings.
Hey, do you see how this thing just got set up to
Yes.
go
Yeah.
just like that? So now
Mhm.
people are on the edge of their seat, like, what story
Mhm.
is he going to tell?
Yeah.
Who's
Yep.
then in that part? It's like, who is he talking about? You see what I'm saying? So when you look at speakers, you have to evaluate their speaking style, their delivery, their pauses, their ums, all of it. It's all magic. It's all magic. I think one of the greatest people in the speaking profession to speak to the public were those people when the plane goes down and they're answering questions about why the plane went down. I think those people have the greatest job in the world because they have the entire globe listening to them and they don't answer anybody's question, but they speak some. And when you look at the governmental structures and those people that are elected officials, when they come to speak, they do the same thing. They're not talking to anybody who showed up. They're talking to everybody who sent them there. And that's a skill. That's a science. There's no, like, if you see any of these people that are speaking, if they're speaking as if they don't know what they're talking about, it's a con. It's a con. Now, you can have a speech prepared. You can have a speech writer give you an amazing speech, but you have to get through that speech yourself. So if you listen to someone speak, if you listen to somebody rap, if you listen to them perform live, if you went to a magic show, if you went to see a stage play on any level, you see all of these elements there. It's theater. I used to listen to my mother speak, and I'm telling you, like, I would know the words verbatim, and they sound different every time. She would laugh, she would joke, she would reel people in, she would let them out. I would go to places just to hear people speak, and I would listen to people speak constantly. I would listen to comedians, not for their jokes, for their delivery, for their timing, for their improvisation skills, all of it. I just would listen and see and study. And I would read, I would research, I would just go listen to people, I would talk to people, I would just go ask people questions. And I would listen to their response. And I would listen to how they would respond. I would listen to their nonverbal communication. And then I would listen to the shit that they're not saying. I would just listen to them. And you know the scariest shit in the world is somebody's paying attention to what you have to say. It freaks people out. And I've done this radio for like 5 years, and I listened to some of the greatest minds in the world, in my opinion. And you would hear these great minds say something like, "Hey, you can cut me off whenever you want to." You ever hear people say that before?
Yes.
You can stop me whenever you want to.
Yeah.
What is the reason for your speech? Question mark. I brought you here for your speech, for your message to be heard, for your vision to be shared. These are all of the things that precede whatever you're selling. They buy you 90%. Your product is an afterthought, whatever your product is. So like this place, like this place, Do the Knowledge Radio. Like my logo and the phrase over my logo is wrong. And I just kept it there. When I came up with the concept of Do the Knowledge Radio, I said the place where knowledge is born. So every time y'all hear me open, this is what I wrote for myself as a script because this is the place where knowledge is born. But it makes it even better when it says a place. Because now it's not a space to where someone thinks I'm in competition with it. It's very disarming. So you can walk around proudly with this sense that you're not in competition with anybody. And I'm not in competition with anybody that has a platform. That's not the reason for my speech. So when you look at speech, when you look at speakers, when you look at performers, when you look at artists, everybody's saying something, whether they open their mouth or not. They're saying something. You look on social media and people write a status or something. There's this mind mapping sickness that's there. There's a question that's asked on Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg wants to know what's on your mind. That's the question before you type anything on Facebook. That question, what's on your mind?
He nosy.
Well, he doesn't even have to be nosy because we tell him.
He nosy as hell. I don't tell him anything. But go ahead.
They just go and they start typing.
Mm-hmm.
And typing is not enough. They give a live feature. They push live. They go live. They tell them everything.
Tell us
They
everything
vent.
about you. Yes.
Right, right. Going to the store. I'm in the cereal aisle. Man, I really want this cereal. What cereal should I get? Then it gives an opportunity for you to make a poll.
Right, right.
What kind of milk? And then now you're like, okay, you're in your own post and you're looking for the comments. I know you ain't drinking that whole milk.
Cow's
Now
milk.
you're in a conversation with somebody who's drinking cow's milk, and then it's a whole post back and forth in regards to a subsection. And you went to the grocery store and you were in the cereal aisle, and it turns into a full out jousting match. There's no need. But it's healing for some people, and they come looking for that. What is the reason for your, like you identified, you asked yourself this question, you don't have to answer it. It could be rhetorical, but if you begin to answer the question to yourself, you may begin to see yourself for the first time. This is an aspect of yourself that is sorely used. We know how to fight with our tongue. We know it. We're on the defense. We're always on the defense. Do we know how to love with our tongue? Do we know how to resurrect with our tongue? Do we know how to speak words of power that will empower, that will enthrall, that will bring out a spirit of change in the person? What is the reason for your speech? So these are things like when you just say stuff like that, you repeat it throughout your speech. What is the reason? And you change your tone, you get your inflection, all of that. You might start off model tone. Today we are here to discuss. And you like, damn, will he just get to the point? Will she just get to the point? Or you got the high-low situation. Like Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, he would open in a way that was profound. And I saw a lot of people seek to imitate that and act as if it's their own. Some great speakers out here, some great speakers. You don't have to be an orator to be a speaker. There's a bunch of orators out here who don't speak well. Some of your favorite artists, actors, entertainers, whatever the case may be, they don't speak well. They don't interview well. Listen to them. But when they get on that microphone, they get on that stage, they get in front of that crowd, whatever, that's a different person.
Yeah, because it's personal.
I just watched Martin and Will Smith's interview on the Breakfast Club when they were talking about this new Bad Boys. And Martin said something that was ill. He said he stays away from people because everybody expects him to be Martin, to be the comedian, to be the life of the party, to say something funny, to take control of the conversation. And he said, I like to listen. He's telling you what he wants, but how many people in that interaction that's going to have a conversation with Martin and not expect some run tell that you so crazy, some of the Def Jam. You understand what I'm saying? That perceived expectation, and he's one who would like to go amongst people and just listen. He wants to listen to other people. So these things in regards to performance are all factors that come into play. They're very, very interesting. Let me see. Sass, did you want to say something before I say something now?
Well, I don't have any problem teaching the class because, working on a degree, a master's degree in philosophy, right? You got to teach.
Mm-hmm.
So, I did. I chose to teach nature of politics because that's my thing, right? And
Mm-hmm.
moral philosophy. But when you come into the class, like a brand new class, the class don't look like you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
people like me just do not end up in the philosophy department, right? So you got to
Mm-hmm.
come in front of these people who don't look like you, probably never seen a black person before, and you got to try to get them into the course first of all, and then get them to kind of interact with you because they will not interact with you if you don't interact with them. So my
Mm.
question when I come in, I go, welcome in nature of politics, and I tell them my name and everything like that, and then I ask them a question like right away, and I say, well, all I want to know is why are you here? Why are you taking this class?
Hmm.
All right, you, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And the majority of the answers is it's an elective, right? It's just
Bam.
yeah, bam,
Bam.
right. Yeah, so you know what you're
Bam.
getting. But it's
Mm-hmm.
always that one or two that would say because I love politics.
Hmm.
And that just makes me so happy. At least it's two out of how many was it? 17? And that right there, it does something to me. So I try to find those people so I could teach those people. So it just makes me so happy. And that's when I get into my groove because I know the subject matter and I know, it just makes me happy. So I go in there, even though I'm terrified, I'm so terrified, but that's how I get the semester started, when I was
Hmm.
doing it. I need to start doing it again. But that was one of the key things that I did. Dealing with an audience that's it's a whole nother animal. I don't know if you've ever done that before.
Of course.
But I know in sales you're talking to different people, right?
Yes.
But this is like it's 17 other people, not no one that looks like me in there, and you have to be able to teach these people and get them to interact with you to try to make
Hmm.
it fun. So I let it be known, okay, so at least I got two people on my side, and then they start laughing or whatever, and I'm like, all right, this is how this class is going to go, blah blah blah. So do you have any questions for me? And usually they do because I'm
Hmm.
the oddball in the room, right? So that's how I deal with classes. Now, getting in front of like the faculty and stuff, and people who I just know like quote unquote smarter than me, I have problems with that because I know my oratory skills are not that good. So, well, not probably not good at all, but that terrifies me. I think it has to do with like I guess the knowledge level of the group of people I'm speaking in front of has I don't know why I think like this, but it just happens. So um it could be some insecurity in there or something. Like I said, I'm not a natural. So depending on who I'm speaking to, I feel a whole different way like each time. Like so I'm not really sure how to, combat that thing. I'm one of the type of people that would just sit alone and not talk to anyone if I had it my way. Like I only talk to certain people. They call those people and I don't like using the word, but it's like introvert, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm trying to get out of that, and I started with, you should smile more. You know what I'm saying? So I would just smile at people to try to, look, I use every tip in the book, okay? I've I've watched people speak and, you know, I need more help. That's all I'm saying. So what do you suggest?
So give me an example of one of your favorite speakers. Give me one person.
Iyanla Van Zant
What
is
is
like
it about her? What is it about her?
she's relatable.
She's relatable. So a
Yeah, because I
speaker
lived.
has to be relatable. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I lived a
You
little, so I
you
can kind of.
gave me you gave me an example of how you relate to your students.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only a matter of relate you transferring that relatability that you use as a teaching tool as an icebreaker to get into the minds of your students, get into the minds of your audience. Your students are your audience. So you just translate from audience to audience. You have to find a way into that audience. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You are there to teach them. You are there to convey a message. You are there to paint a picture. You are there to spark and elevate the minds of whomever you come in front of. Every time you speak, no matter who you're speaking to, especially if you're speaking to yourself. So, even with a phrase saying about oratory skills, you just put yourself in a prison that you don't want to get out of. Like one of the greatest words in the English language is yet.
Yet.
Yet. I don't know too much about this technology stuff yet. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm not the greatest speaker yet. So now you're giving yourself room to grow and to develop, to put yourself in a position to be in those spaces where you can get that information. But if you say, I'll never, I'm going to give you an example. I coach youth sports, I coach basketball since 2000. And I coach basketball probably till like 2017, 2018. So about 18 years. I coached basketball when I was in the military. I coached my children in basketball. I coached other people's children. I just went and coached even when my children weren't playing. And my approach to coaching is the same approach to liberation. You have to go in front of strangers. You have to go in front of strangers, young people and their parents. Before I coached young people, I coached military teams in the Army. I coach people that's about 60 years old to someone who's 6 years old. And you know the difference between someone who's 60 years old on the basketball court and somebody who's 6 years old on the basketball court?
What?
Not a damn thing. Nothing. Nothing at all. They are all children. 60-year-old
Yep.
children, you got 6-year-old children. They throw temper tantrums on the basketball court. They lose their goddamn mind on the basketball court. And you have to refocus them. You have to take 12 individuals and turn them into one person and call it a team. If you're looking for liberation, if the goal is liberation, if the goal is sovereignty, if the goal is African liberation and decimation of our enemies, you have to take individuals who hate each other and would rather kill each other and turn them into a team that no one could ever harm. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to work with the psychology of individuality.
Right. Mhm.
You have to put them through a situation where they are no longer individuals.
Mhm.
You have to look for the individuals and break out the individual mindset that exists. You're walking into a classroom, you got 17 individuals in this class. They're strangers. You know, they're antisocial. They might be talking shit. You might get a wise guy. You might get a heckler in the crowd. Now you're a comedian. Now you're a therapist. Now you're a counselor. All of these things in one class session. Now you're a coach. Now you're a drill instructor. You have to go through all of these modalities in a short span of time. So I would take these 13 people who showed up. I would walk in. I would see their parents. I would see all of these things that was going on. I would see their parents disengaged. They might be in their phones. Everybody's running around. People are dribbling these basketballs. They're shooting everywhere. Blah blah blah. All of this chaos that's going on. And I have to establish order. I have to establish order. Their parents are there, and in this environment, they don't listen to their parents. So they don't even respond to a command. They're like, oh, you shit out of luck. I'm like, I love this. This is the moment that I live for. I live for this moment and the change in the room. I love it. Like, it is crazy. I love it. Like, that is crazy. I go into all of this chaos. And while it's going on, I don't interrupt it. I'm going through who are you, all right, who are you, Who are you? Boom, 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 boom. I say everybody circle up. And I'm looking to see who's going to run from where they are and who's going to walk. I already see what's going on. And the ones who are running, I don't say anything to them. The person who's walking, I say, why are you walking? Immediately they start running. And their parents, I see this light in the eyes from the parents. They're like, oh, this is about to be different. I say, everybody put the basketball down. I get one basketball and I pass it to everybody. I say, introduce yourself, whether you play basketball or not. That's my assessment already. I'm looking to see who in this crowd has some experience, because experience can either help you or hurt you on this team. So I'm looking to see organized basketball, whatever, any other sports, any kind of organized sports. I'm listening for it. So I'm looking at that, and I learned everybody's name, and I know that nobody's paying attention to anybody introducing themselves, and they want to call themselves a team. They don't know anybody's name. I love it. I'm telling you. That practice is so intense. If you cannot get a team out of that first impression, if you can't remove the individuality, if this team does not have it in their mind that they're a team and that they're looking to win, and that the only reason why they're on this basketball court together is for each other, not for the crowd, not for the score, not for the time on the clock. If you can't do that, you are not fit to be a coach. And you're not preparing to win. So after everybody introduces themselves, I say, everybody line up on the line. I said, what's his name? Run. Let's go. After they run twice or three times, you will hear somebody say, everybody yell out your name. Everybody yell out your name. Everybody. Okay? Who's tired? Somebody will raise their hand. Oh, such and such is tired. So you take them through these situations where they no longer have control over their will, and what they do and what they don't do has consequences. This is interesting. So now everybody begins to self-check everybody. I tell them there's no walking in practice. No walking. I might say it 3 times. Everybody is saying it before the practice is over. Everybody. Hey, don't walk. Don't walk. Coach doesn't like. Coach doesn't. Coach. Now you know you can work with a team. Now you know you have a team that's there that came in as strangers, and I wish somebody would try that as a team. Who are you here for? You know, in the world of sales, they ask you, what's your why? This is what you ask your students when you went into class. What's your why? And based off their answers, you know how to deal with them accordingly. What are you doing here? And then you have to deal with their parents and their parents' mentality. There was a scene in that new Karate Kid with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan where Jaden's mother was trying to get him to pick up his jacket all the time. He would come in the house and throw his jacket on the floor. This is where Jackie Chan saw his way in order to teach Jaden. If he couldn't teach Jaden to pick up his jacket, There was no way he was going to teach him kung fu. So when you recognize a way and a manner to get to your audience, this is what you say. If this is what you're communicating has to be greater than your fear of what you have in regards to reserve or reservations that will prevent you from speaking or saying it. Your mission has to be more important in the moment. The butterflies, when the room starts spinning, the sweaty palms, your us, where you forgot your place in space. You had everything mapped out. It sounded perfectly good in your head. You was ready. You was good. This was your night. You was gonna get on the stage and kill it, and you bombed. It was reported that the first time the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey got up to speak, he fell off the stage. He fell off the stage. That didn't stop him. These moments that you had, learn from them. The bruise, the scars, the scabs along the way, the Charlie horses, the cramps in your side. Use them. After I got a team to be a team, that was the greatest victory in the world. That's the win. As long as you won or you lost on the basketball court as a team, I was good. Did you learn something? Did you have fun? Were you out there playing for your team or for your mama and your daddy in the stands? That's a conflict. That's a conflict. That's why there's no difference between somebody who's 60 or 6 years old. If you get the cheer from the crowd, next thing you know, you're no longer in the game. You're in the stands. You on ESPN. You at the after show. You in the after interview. No, the work is still in front of you. You celebrate when it's done. So your message, that reason for your speech, that why, it has to be something that you can't even fathom. It can be something you can articulate, but it's got to be something you can't fathom. It can't be nothing for you because you ain't shit to yourself. You can quit on you. You can't quit on everybody else that's depending on you, whoever that is. And you can teach a child a duty and responsibility to a team. They can be dutiful and responsible to their family, to their community, and to their nation as a whole, to their race as a whole. This is what these team sports are for. These are life skills that are there. And you as the facilitator, you have to bring the people together for a moment. I heard Queen Dale. You bring people together for a moment, and she was reflecting on those times when she did not do it, and that was a defeat. This is when she bombed. Those skills, those talents, those things that appear natural, they take work. And then you have to know that if your speech is to edify, to uplift, to inspire, to entertain, to motivate, to move people in a certain kind of direction, these other things begin to take over. You are an ambassador to your bloodline. And your bloodline is rooting for you. Your ancestral lineage is rooting for you. So whatever your gift is that don't feel like work, it flows. It flows from you. Ain't no rap school. You don't go get no PhD in rap and then come out and teach rapping. Ain't no rap college. Ain't no rap high school. Ain't no rap middle school. Ain't no rap elementary school. Ain't no rap Head Start. Ain't no rap preschool. Nothing. There's no university yet.
It's a
There
gift.
will be.
That's a gift, though.
Now, it's called rehearsing. It's called practice.
Practice.
It's called perseverance. If you are a speaker, if you are a writer, if you are a dancer, you have to practice. You don't have to go to a formal place to do it. I used to just take a beat tape. You know, it was a beat tape in front of the projects, out there on Front Street, out there on Muhammad Ali Avenue, out there in
Oh my,
Little
oh
Bricks,
my God, in the 90s? Okay.
out, out there in front of the Mac.
Are you
You
crazy?
understand? Yes, yes. Yeah, like any of that, like it was a beat tape. It wasn't a CD. I couldn't afford no CD. You know, it was a beat tape and a little radio from the corner store with 3 buttons, not 4. Couldn't even rewind. You had to flip it over,
Flip
fast
it
forward. It was
over.
like a bigger version of a Walkman. You see that?
You took me back
You see,
there.
you see how relatable that is?
Yes.
That's a skill right there on time, perfectly placed, waiting to elicit a response.
Yeah.
You know, so all of these things come in regards to this approach. People will change their mind from who the fuck does this person think they are to I love them.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
You change the trajectory of the thoughts. I've been around people I could cut every last one of their heads off and they would never know. They would never know. They would never know. By the way that I approach the speaking style to get the information across to them in a way that they can use for the rest of their life. So these are gifts, these are talents, these are skills, but these are things that have to be cultivated. And you have to be intentional about your work on them. You have to spend time with your gifts. You got to fall in love with your gifts. Like I wasn't speaking, I was coaching, I was taking men through manhood training. I was taking people through initiatory rite ceremonies, rites of passages, and I wasn't speaking. I wasn't speaking. I was teaching, but I wasn't speaking. It was an instruction manual type of situation. The engagements were robotic. It wasn't until I start to apply the soul tactic, the spirit tactic, to speak to someone's spirit, to speak to their soul, to speak to their mind, to speak to their soul and their heart and their being the way music does. That's when you know you got a connection. You got an in. You hear it. It's in there. Proverbs. Let me look at Proverbs real quick. Proverbs 19.
Let me get my book.
Proverbs 19,
One of my books.
verse 20. Proverbs 19, verse 20, 21, and 22. I love it.
Which one?
Proverbs 19, verse 20, 21, and 22.
I have 21 marked up. Verse 20. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. 21. There are many devices in a man's heart, nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord that shall stand. 22. The desire of a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar.
That's the KJV.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should I get the
I was
NIV?
looking at no, I was looking at this one right here. I don't know which version it is. It's crazy. This is the man of integrity. It says, listen to counsel and accept discipline. Listen to counsel and accept discipline. Listen to counsel and accept discipline. Kwame Ture was one of my favorite speakers. He would say things 3 times on purpose.
Hear counsel and receive instruction.
Right. So receive instruction, hear counsel, listen to counsel, and accept discipline.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
How many of us are willing to listen to counsel? And then it says
Yes,
and
and
that's instruction. It says and
right.
there are contrasts that if and or but. Like it says and accept discipline. How can you do that? You say, okay, I want to be free, or I want to learn something. I want to learn something. And you won't listen to counsel. I want to learn something, and you won't accept discipline. You want to exist in a society, and you don't want to listen to counsel, and you don't want to accept discipline, admonishment for your bad behavior. That you may be wise. Listen to the said ability to be able to assess something that's happening in you, something that's taking place in you, and said, listen to counsel and accept discipline, that you may become wise for how long? The rest of your
In your later
days,
days. Right. In your later
rest of
days.
your damn life. So if you do these things and you spend the time of your life in this kind of manner, this is your result. Wisdom. Rest of your days. It says, many plans are in a man's heart, meaning his mind, meaning his brain. But the purpose of the Lord will prevail. What's supposed to happen is going to happen. This is our old folk talking to us. You got plenty of plans, you got plenty of thoughts, ideas, aspirations, blah, 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 but the purpose of the Lord will prevail. So your plan, the way you had things mapped out, the laundry list of things that you said you was going to have done by a certain time, that's in your heart, that's on your heart, that's in your spirit, that's on your mind, on your brain, that occupies your brain space. You become obsessed with that. And then you begin to look at yourself as inadequate because you have not attained these things. You go into a state of depression looking at yourself. Again, what is the reason for your speech? How do you crawl out of those depths of despair within yourself? Being reminded that the purpose of the Lord will prevail. So understanding that purpose and beginning to walk in that purpose will alleviate you from being in those depths of despair, that will deliver you from those places where people take their life. Walking in that purpose. Then it don't matter what obstacle is thrown in your path, what setback. Different. Then the last thing it says, the desire of a man is loving devotion. Better to be poor than a liar. KGB says better be a poor man than A lying man? That's deep. That's deep. Lying to who? Listen to your speech and ask yourself the question, what is the reason for your speech? There's a conversation in the Holy Quran between the agencies of the creator of all and Muhammad. And it says in the 8th chapter, in the 30th verse, and remember, O Muhammad, when those who disbelieved plotted against you to restrain you or kill you or evict you from Mecca. But they planned, and Allah plans, and Allah is the best of planners. Look at this conversation that's being had. This is a revelation that comes in Medina, where Muhammad is being reminded. He's being reminded that you've been here before and you were delivered before. So this is a conversation saying, yo, Muhammad, yo, you tripping, fam. What's going on with you? Oh, Muhammad, remember when those who disbelieve, remember when they plotted against you to restrain you. Think about this for a second. Muhammad was a good dude amongst his people. He was a trustworthy dude. According to, the story. He was a trustworthy dude. He was a caravan trader. And he was in the cave meditating, and he received this revelation that said, Ikra bismi rabbika ala. Read in the name of your Lord. And he said he's not a reader. You tell him he don't know how to read. So you got a commandment to read.
That's right.
And he said he's not a reader. So look at this situation in regards to his path to ascension. And it says for him to do something that he could not do. He didn't allow this to stop him. He was hesitant. And he thought he saw a demon. And he went home and he told Khadijah, he said, girl, I ain't going back to that goddamn cave no more. I'm up there tripping. She's like, what happened? I'm sitting there meditate. And something appeared before me telling me to read. Baby, you know I can't read. She like, say what? This is the black folk conversation version of it. This ain't, I don't know what that other stuff is. It is after 12 o'clock, okay? I ain't getting into all that. So she's like, what? For real? Let's go to my cousin's house and see what my cousin said about what you saw. So they go to Tyrone's house. Khadijah's like, yo. He's like, what up, Deej? What up, Deej? She's like, yo, Muhammad tripping. Tell him what you told me. Muhammad was like, yo, I was in this cave, blah, blah, this happened. He like, what? Let me go get my book. He like, yo, you know you are? So this is how the conversation goes. So from the inception of coming into the renewed understanding that you have a duty and responsibility, you have to be reminded of the adversity that you faced beforehand. You got to come face to face with that fear. So this this conversation is bringing him back to a time where he almost lost his life, where he had to flee from a place that he came up in with people that said he was a trustworthy dude and he was making money as a caravan trader. But once he stood on principle and truth, he's in a place where they had 360 idols, one for every day of the year, as opposed to the lunar calendar. And he came into that place and said, we ain't doing this no more. There's only one God. Do you know what kind of economic shift that causes this region? This is the reason why everybody came and they traveled from afar to come to Mecca. They had the festivals, they had the celebrations, they had all this stuff going on. It was popping. What them young folks say? It was lit in Mecca. It was lit. It was a lituation over there in Mecca. And here comes this same dude who lived in this spot for 40 years, come out of the damn cave, talking about La ilaha illallah. They're like, yo, this motherfucker gotta go. This is bad for business. You're gonna tell these people who came over here with these celebrations, these festivals, these turn-up sessions that these folks be talking about to the spot. Then you telling me we can't do this in the spot no more. These is idols now. And he went against the three most powerful, what they would deem as idols. A lot, Al-Uzza and Al-Mennet in that region. And all of these people was like, yo, we liked you, but you fucking with our money. You gotta die. So he had to flee to Medina. So this is the picture that's being painted for him to come to grips with his greatest fear, death. In this case, for the people that are listening, it's to give a damn speech in front of people. So it said these people who disbelieved, they plotted against you to restrain you. They would just really say, all right, let's just get this dude out of here. You understand? Let's just put him somewhere. Let's tell him like, you out of here, son. We can't rock with you. Restrain you, kill you, or evict you. It's like, we gotta tie this dude up, we gotta kill him, or we gotta tell him to get to stepping. And in that, he had to come to some heavy grips in regards to, is this some shit I really want to do? These cats is telling, I've been told that this is this. I've been called to do a certain duty or a task, and it's making me unpopular with people I got love for. Is this something I really want to do? You come into them with the truth. And the response to the truth is, even to the point where they had called him Asadi, which is loosely translated as testifying to the truth. Like they know his word is bond. If he say he's going to do something, he's going to do something. If he say he's going to be somewhere, he was dead. Till he started talking about that fucking money. They're like, man, you tripping, you lying. So these was the options. So he fled from a place that he grew up in, where he put a life together, where he got a wife from, and he had to go into Medina. And Medina wasn't no spot for him to just roll up in. They said, but they plan, and Allah plans, and Allah is the best of planners. So when we talking about purpose, just highlighting those things, you know, back to the question, what is the reason for your speech? So this is your speech. Are you using your message and tying it to your mission? How important is your message? Is it more powerful than the fears that's associated with it? Are you prepared to die for your message? Are you prepared to kill for your message? How important is your message? If it's not that important, or it's not that serious, or it shouldn't come out of your mouth unless it's in that regard, we would say less. I guess that's the term that people say nowadays. I only hear these cats is near 50. They talk like they 12 years old. Hey, yo, no doubt knowledge more, man. Say less. You want me to say less? You want me to say less or say more? So this is the conversation, you know? That's why I tell you, ain't no difference between a 60-year-old and a 6-year-old. They talk the same. Say less. Sash, you ever heard a 50-year-old, 55-year-old man say it's lit out here?
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just it just get set on fire. I'm telling you. Sometimes I just uh, let me read this last thing. It says in the 29th chapter, in the second verse of the Quran, it says, "Do the people think that they will be left alone because they say we believe and they will not be tested?" I love it. This is a question to the believing people. You know, it says this is a poor translation, but it's speaking about the believing people. This ain't talking about the disbelievers. It said, you know, do the believing people think that they will be left alone simply because they say we believe and will not be tested? It's a question. It's a question. It's for these folks that's on this path. We on this path to liberation. We believe in it wholeheartedly. If you look at an addictive behavior or a bad behavior, if you look at the root cause and then you say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna quit smoking. I'm gonna quit drinking. I'm gonna quit eating pork. I don't know. Whatever the case would be. I'm gonna stop cussing. Yeah. You know, these things, you know, things like that. Whatever it is that you're looking to improve in your life, I just gave them examples. As soon as you make this conscious decision, all of the reasons why you smoke, you drink, whatever the case may be, they bombard you 1,000 times fold. And you find yourself smoking more than you ever smoked before, drinking more than you ever drank before. And you're no longer dutiful to what you said out of your mouth. And what you said out of your mouth caused all these things to come into existence. You said, I am no longer going to do fill in the fucking blank. So now There's a situation set up to see if you're going to keep your word to yourself, to your ancestral lineage, to the Creator. You say, Lord, if you in this drunken state that you in or whatever, I know I didn't say it, drunk. Lord, if you get me out of this, I never drink again.
Drunk as
This feeling, if you take this feeling away from me, Lord, let me tell you, Lord, everybody, whoever listens, will be drunk again next night. You understand? So like, that's like you start looking at it in regards to those things. So in regards to the speaking, these reservations that we have about speaking, these reservations that we have about reaching our goals, these reservations we have about the things that are inside of us, the capabilities that we possess. These are all things that are here for us to improve upon, for us to work on, but we have to be dutiful to them and we have to surrender to the process. There are things that are associated with liberation, with sovereignty, that we have to go through to get to the other side of. And that's only to begin again. It's only to begin again. Painstaking labor, giving birth to a child, only to begin again. A vision, a visionary being surrounded around those who have limited sight and goldfish memory.
That's me, goldfish memory. Yeah.
Throw
Mm-hmm.
that away. Throw that away. You could. You ain't got no goldfish memory. You could retire. You could retire that jersey. You know they clap for it at the end of the game. You know you come out, you take a bow, you take goldfish memory now. You good. I remember everything.
Yeah, yeah, you do.
I remember everything. I'm talking about you. I ain't talking about me. I'm talking about you. I remember everything. You know.
I can't
So
remember
it's
half my
there.
part.
It's there. You know. Hey, those things are associated with rest. You just yawn. Just I was waiting for the yawn. That's how it goes. Certain things start getting removed from your material view. You could be looking at something that you're looking for and you can't find it, and you're looking at it the whole time. It's it's there. You're going through all of these emotions, and it's hidden from your sight, but it's in your plain sight. I done lost my phone, my car keys, in my pocket. I done lost them in my hand. You understand? I done lost them in my hand, rushing.
I lost my glasses on my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mad as hell. You cussing up a storm. Who the fuck? Who the fuck? Y'all better not have. Like you going through all that. All of it. All of it. It's in a friends. It's in a frenzy. All of that, all kind of stuff happening, but it's there. So there's things that are there for a reason. So what's the reason for your speech? Why do you have breath in your lungs? You know? Why did Corona let you live? Y'all know I love Corona. Praise her.
Queen Mother. Yeah.
Queen Mother Corona. Yes, all praises. If you have a voice, is it louder than the sound of your despair? Is it louder than the sounds of your defeat? Is it the speech of victory? Is a victory speech louder and more resounding and more articulate than the sound of doubt, of worry, of fear, of desperation in you? Them voices, both of them, they loud as hell. Who are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Are you confounded by what you hear? Is there a contradiction? Is there a conflict in you that is keeping you from your best you? And if you identified it, what are you doing to eradicate those doubts, those fears from your material view, from your modality? Because then they're not going to be destroyed. You're not going to vanquish them, but you're going to give credence and ode to that insurrection spirit in you, your voice. The same dude I was talking about earlier, Muhammad, was reported to have said, when you see an injustice happen, he began to speak about people and their choices when they see an injustice. He said, the first person and the greatest person sees an injustice and seeks to eliminate this injustice with their hands. They physically get involved with their hands. The second person, they see an injustice and they intervene with their mouth. They condemn the evil acts or the person. They say something with their mouth. They use their tongue to speak against the injustice. He said the third person, they condemn it in their heart. They don't say anything. They don't do anything. They just condemn it in their heart. And he said to those people that that is the weakest form of protest. I added a fourth. Is the people who do nothing. That's the fourth. And for today's generation, there's a fifth. There's people who pull out their motherfucking phone and start recording. That's the fifth class. They see an injustice taking place and they reach into their pocket, their purse, whatever, and they pull out that damn device and they hit record. Oh man, this phrase at the beginning it said business is a contact sport. Interesting. So hopefully whoever views this archive got me out of my uh, modality. Uh, no serious conversations after 12 o'clock. I guess I had to still be Gizmo and put Spike on the shelf for today and ask this research question for you to go into the deepest recesses of your essence and spirit and find an answer to the question. If it's a question for you. And before I play this video, so Sister Sass, do you have something that you wanted to say?
No, you said it all. All of it.
Did it? Did it?
Yeah.
For real?
The whole thing. Yeah.
I ain't say it all. I could have said
Said
some
it
more
all.
shit. But it's after 12 o'clock.
It
So
is.
I ain't want to be serious.
But
But this is serious.
put Spike on the shelf.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
mad too. Mad. So did you think this was a pretty interesting conversation?
Yes. Yes, it was very interesting.
I was gonna tell my birth story, but I shared it another time.
Speech, oratory, and speech and oratory skills. You said that was different, right?
Yes.
Yeah. To be a good orator, you catch people's attention, right? A good orator.
They could be still in your wallet, you know?
Yeah.
Man.
Being able to articulate your thoughts to where people can understand.
It should make you want to do something. It
I
should make you want to change something. It should make you want to leave a legacy. It should make you want uh, a good speech should be followed up by some bodily functions. Yeah.
Yeah, receive instruction, and after that, scripts after that was Ghost talks about the lazy man, the one who loves sleep. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's doomed. So yeah, it goes hand in hand. But I think I have too much stuff on my mind. I think kind of fast, so I need to slow down my thoughts. I'm in a hurry.
That's magic. That's the magic of the African woman. You don't need to slow it down. You need to keep that together because this is how uh, things get done. If you slow down and concentrate on one thing, that's the job of the African man. He can only do one thing at a time. You understand? Like he has to be able to only do one thing at a time. Like it's set up like that. That's the brilliance. It's like you see this other magic done, you see it, respect it. You see what I'm saying?
I
If he's
know.
working on the car, he's working on the
On the
car. If he's
car, yeah.
changing the tire, he's changing the tire. But there's conflict in regards to understanding that communication and the essentiality of the essence right there. You doing 17 things at a time. He
9 of
see it
hours
and
a day.
he see it and don't understand it. Why the fuck you got to be doing some shit all the goddamn time? Can you
Yeah.
just sit your ass down somewhere? He's angered by it, but he loves and respects it at the same time. So it's a
Yeah.
compliment.
Yep.
So if he goes to do something, that's what he's doing. This is where his mind is thoroughly engaged, and by the time he's done, it's a pyramid. She has to do it. Is that all you're going to do? I'm in here doing this. You can help me with this. His mind does not exist in that place. And if he tried to do it, you would lose your damn mind.
Oh man. At least try, at least do two things. Try at least
Two
two
things.
two things at a time.
Right. In the time that it took you to do them two things, I did 65 things. And
Ah,
then here comes the statement that kills everything. I should have just did it my damn self.
yeah. Oh man.
Now it's about to be war. That's an open declaration of war, right?
That be the truth
And the
though.
one thing that he's doing, and he says, can you see? I'm in the middle of something right now. And you say, you ain't doing shit. To me, it look like you ain't doing nothing at all.
Well, stop and do this. Yeah.
We understand. We no longer understand the modality of us. And that goes back to the speaking conversation because the first thing is to know your audience.
Yeah.
So it's there. It doesn't go anywhere.
Tough crowd.
Tough crowd. You know, you in the house. You got to deal with the hecklers. We eat broccoli tonight. Oh, not broccoli again. You got to deal with the heckler. That's a performance. Now you in the feelings like don't nobody like my broccoli. All this stuff I had to go through with this broccoli to get y'all this broccoli. You understand? Gotta deal with it. Gotta deal with that. Gotta overcome that. And present broccoli in a manner that broccoli becomes the greatest meal that they ever tasted. That's your speech. That's your message. That's your delivery. You want them walking away raving about your broccoli. Whatever that broccoli is to you. Whatever that message is that you're seeking to impart. That takeaway that you want them to have from this experience that is called you. You know? As long as you ain't selling Norway products like they was doing now, I'm gonna get you sucking. You selling Norway products?
Yeah.
Hey, want to hear that shit about no Norway products, boy. I tell you, you selling Norway products. You know? Yeah. So let me play this little 7 minute. Hopefully it worked. Let me get rid of everything else because this thing be like, you wanna what? Uh 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 two. 222. This is from Dr. Miles Monroe. Rest in peace to that great
Before you start that, I just wanted to say that Minister King Samir said that they didn't come from they didn't come out of no mountains. They were ran up in there. They're not from here.
Mm, I don't know what's going on with this. I was good the whole time, I think, for most of the broadcast.
You froze up.
Those things. Got my camera on me. Said, the hell with that. You talking about? Mm. I was good till I said I wanted to play this video. What you think?
Is it working?
No, the whole thing froze up. Let me try it one more time. If it don't work this time, it's a sign. Dr. Miles Monroe don't want me to play his shit. You know what I'm saying? You like, little brother, they not ready for that one, little brother. Don't play that one for them. You see. Oh, it came up. Cross your fingers, says. Let's see. Let's see what it does.
Okay.
In your life has to be paid. This, I wanted to just show you this. Our entire church is on a fast for 21 days from January 9th to January 30th. No, my wife, no food, herbal tea. You don't die. Why the on a fast for you missed a meal. Christ fasted 40 days. Elijah. They believed it. They ran into a little demon-possessed boy. Love God. They follow Jesus. Churches, his words. But they still can. They pray just like you pray. Come out in Jesus' name. I bind all that stuff. The demon says, no, I'm not coming out. Because I'm a different kind of spirit. I need more than what you're doing. Prayer can't get me out. Leaving the mountain, coming down the mountain after fasting. And he says, confused. Christ said, I brought my boy to you, to your disciples, and they couldn't cast it. First turn to them. I'm impressing you. What day of food looks like, because most of the people I meet, they think they're going to die. That's a lie of a demon. So Jesus turned to the man and said, bring the boy to me. Boy back to his father. The disciples were ashamed and quiet because they were publicly embarrassed. A meal, eating. And they were so afraid to talk to him. Built up the courage. His name was Peter. And Peter said, that incident today, why couldn't we cast that demon? And Christ quickly answered him, son, that kind by prayer, which is what you guys did, and fasting, which you didn't do. There's some things you're trying to change in your situation in your life. You've been praying for weeks. God doesn't change. But because the spirit world is and fasting in capacity, spiritual power. It's like a pipe. It's like gunk in a pipe. The more you eat, the smaller the whole spirit still flows through you, but very restricted. You know, flushing out all it makes you solely to God. Act of Jesus. Yeah. To pay a price. He could trust me to change and train prime ministers. I need to have access from God. Completely spiritually advise someone. Perhaps the church in the Western world eating itself to right now. Some of them are 80 years old, 70 years old. 27 is fasting with us. Teenagers fast. The other way.
Did you hear it or no?
Yeah, I heard it. It was going in and out, but I heard it.
You made it. What do you think?
What do I think? To get the demon, I mean, to get, what was the demon or devil? To get the demon out, he had to fast? Is that what it was? You can't get out with prayer, but you can get out with fasting? Is that what he was saying?
He said that prayer wasn't enough.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to afflict yourself. No? Yeah, when you're fasting, that's a sign. That's a action of affliction. Also, a cleansing type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it brings you back to your God. So it does several things. That's why you fast. So
What did you think about his presentation style?
he was very calm, and he went for the pulling of at the heartstrings type of thing. It sounded
How did
quite
he?
it sounded quite
Go ahead.
mysterious as well,
Mm.
to get you into the story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else? Um, I don't know. I don't know. He I don't know. It was pulling at the heartstrings. It was um calm. It was
What
kind
was
of
he trying to get people to do?
listen.
What was he trying to get them to do?
What do you mean? Try to get them to do to
Yeah.
understand?
What was the point of the whole thing? What did he want them to do at the end?
Fast.
Fast, right. That was the goal of
Yes.
that part of the conversation because it's a
Uh-huh.
whole sermon. It's like an hour long and some change.
Yeah.
But that
I
part right
bet.
there,
I bet.
he was talking to them about what? He was trying to get them to
Fast.
do what?
Fast.
Had they fasted before?
Probably. I
Did they
don't know.
fast? It would have been a different conversation had they fasted before.
You think so?
Effectively. Listen
Oh,
to
okay.
his. Did he come up there and say that y'all need to fast and I'm gonna show you what? He showed them what. This is a sales pitch.
A
This
story.
is a sales pitch. This is
Yeah, he
what
showed
you
them like,
do as a public speaker. He showed them what is the first thing that he showed them?
I don't know, because the picture was messed up. He showed them something?
He showed them himself.
Oh, well, yeah.
He opened up his suit jacket and he said, "This is what 21 days of no food looks like."
Okay. I didn't see that because the screen was messed up. Oh, the 21-day fast? He's trying to sell that?
Yes. He's telling them, look, he's telling them something. You have to have a sales pitch. You have to have something that you're intending for people to do. It's a call to action. It's a call and response type of situation. Otherwise, you're not speaking to anybody. You might as well just be talking to yourself. He has to present them with a problem. He has to present them with a solution. He has to present them with the results. The talk was called the benefits of fasting. You have to see that there's a benefit.
Right.
He has to go through a certain protocol in regards to speaking because he's considering his audience. This dude was a phenomenal speaker, a world renowned speaker. And I heard him speak in front of different audiences. And his approach is almost the same. Like he speaks from a space of wisdom. He makes things very plain. He throws in a couple of jokes. I don't know if you saw like the video. He started off at the pulpit and he ended up in the audience. That's a skill.
Yeah.
This is how you know that you're in. You can go from the pulpit into the audience. He was in the front row and he was pointing at people. You understand? You know how disarmed you have to be to not go on the defense when somebody's talking to you and it feels like they're talking to you and then they come up to you and they're pointing at you? Do you know what you have to be in that space? The intended receiver and the one who is transmitting the sound. He started off model tone, kind of
Mm-hmm.
calm, all of it.
Mm.
He was easing this in because this is not a subject that you just talk about. You know, Christians fasting. Yeah, okay. You understand what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, in regards to
Yeah.
this. So you have to introduce this to your audience in a way that is palatable. He has to show you the results and work backwards. Then he has to remind you that I'm not talking at you. I'm not talking to you from an elevated space. I'm talking to you on your level. That's why he got off the pulpit. It wasn't a situation of grandizement. He was tuned into the hearts and mind and spirit of his audience. This is what a speaker has to do. And they don't have a lot of time to do it. That was only 7 minutes. So I used to go to places. I go to the mosque. I go to the church. I go wherever. I go to the street corner and I just listen. I'm like, oh, that's some game. I would go to the car lot. I go to the comedy show. I would just listen to speakers. I would just listen to them convey. I go to the hip hop show. I'll be in the crowd. This is the art and the science of selling without feeling like you sold. And that's the job of the performer is to ensure you got your money's worth. Because you can't just be coming someplace. He had them convicted. He had them drawn in. He had them hanging on every syllable. A comedian got to do that with the build-up before the punchline. The great ones have you laughing and going crazy, and you can't even get through the damn joke. The improv got to be there. Everything got to be on point, like boom, 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 boom. Like there's so much to that. But when you see it, it don't look like nothing. It look easy. It look like, yo, I could just take the show on the road. Everybody would be on the damn road if that was it. But who would be in the audience if everybody was on the road? You see? So he's talking about this subject of fasting. You're talking about sacrifice. You're talking about abstaining. You're talking about giving something up. And this is right at the gut. Like this is the demon that's seeking to be exorcised. This habit forming comfort place, food. How traumatic that is. How this is the cure. You know, you hear people with their children, they crying. You want you want something? You want a piece of fruit? You want some candy? How addictive that is. So you would give them a substitute instead of giving them you. They want you. But they'll take your stuff though. Take your stuff. That's their coping mechanism. So you're talking about a comfort situation, you know, a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. And you have to convey this in a way where you can't lose nobody. You got to be serious and intentional about what you're saying, but you got to say it in a way that'll come across as serious and intentional. The antics, the use of the hand, the use of space, the use of people, the use of story, anecdotal evidence. People don't want to hear statistics. It's already an uncomfortable situation. They want to hear what the fuck has fasting done for you. That's why he got that out of the way at the beginning. So all of these things that he's talking about, and then he had that approach, what they call appeal to authority. He's saying that these people tried to cut a corner and it didn't work. He's saying that some of us tried to half step with this shit already. Some people got every excuse in the world. This is why he started naming age ranges of the people who had already committed to fast. Some of them are 80 years old. This is why he started talking about the youth. So now it puts you in a position to say, shit, if an 80-year-old person can do it and a 16-year-old person can do it, he said, my wife, she showed the family. My son, he showed the family. He did all of these things in the space of 7 minutes and made this message impactful. Is everybody in that damn congregation going to go on the fast with them? No, but some people will. Are you going to get that response you're looking for out of everybody that you convey that message to? No. But you put the message out there. You did the job that you're supposed to do. And you might meet somebody someday and say, you know what? I heard you speak. Oh, Ma, this is one of my teachers. My politics teacher. Ma, this is my coach. He coached me in basketball. That's why I be coaching, man, because of him. I thought he was crazy. Been through that. It's these things with these shows and all of that. You go through the highs and the lows, the intended message. You hope it don't get misconstrued. You hope it don't get misrepresented. But you ain't in charge of none of that shit. Like your duty is to be on and to convey your message. You know,
Yep.
only one that can say, "Please don't make me be misunderstood," is the High Priestess of Soul, Nina Simone. You just and she was misunderstood. You know. So you have the responsibility of the farmer to plant the seeds, to irrigate, to prepare the soil, to open the way and create the greatest and the highest probability for those seeds to bear fruit. So use your speech to plant the seeds in the minds and not preoccupy yourself with the bountiful harvest. Continue to do the work. Continue to inspire. Continue to motivate. Continue to uplift. Don't be the person that does nothing. And if you do something, don't be the person that pulls out the phone to tell everybody what you did or what you see. Just continue to work. So that's you good? You gooder? You goodest?
I'm goodest.
You goodest?
I'm goodest. You teaching, so I'm good. The spirit was on you.
Was it?
It was.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Mhm. You couldn't contain it, like Jeremiah said.
Dr. Miles said that he wanted his voice to be heard. I'll take it. Shout out to Jocelyn. Uh, Jocelyn Professional Management Services. It's her birthday today. My manager, you know, it's going down. And we're going to be on today, later on,
Yeah, a lot later.
a lot later, a couple hours, like 8, 9 hours from now, 8 hours,
12 hours from now.
7, I don't know.
10. Wait, when is it?
58 hours from now.
10, 9 hours. I don't know. It's a lot
I
later.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, whenever that
Later.
is. A lot later.
Got to gather
And
my
we're
note.
gonna be talking about who? Miles Davis, John Coltrane,
No,
Thelonious Monk,
Marvin
Art
Gaye,
Blakey,
Marvin Gaye, and
Marvin
Gil,
Gaye,
Marvin Gaye and Gil Scott
Heron.
Heron. Yes.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Revolution is not televised. As soon
Revolution.
as soon as you said that to
Now.
me, it popped right in my head, and I heard it in my brain. Like, oh my god, I haven't heard it in
Yeah.
a long time. Yeah,
Mm.
it's like I forgot about it. Like, I have a bad memory, but I forgot about it. It's weird.
You had one. You had a bad memory. It's
I
gone now.
really?
Yeah, they put your that jersey up in where in Rutgers. They retired and seeing hard. You know what I'm saying? That shit's gone. Done. No bad memory. Shit's gone.
Man, I really need to work on trying to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's National Poetry Month. Shout out to the poets. Maybe if I ask real nicely, we can get Gia Sky Heron, Gil Sky Heron's daughter, over here for like 20 seconds. Let's see. See
She's a poet.
if I got to choose. Yeah.
She's a
Like
poet. Oh,
father,
okay.
like daughter. Like father, like daughter. You know. Daughter. Yeah. So I see. You will not be able to sit home, brother.
A lot of people sitting home
Corona.
now. They,
Corona.
the brother, the brother earlier said that people are being irresponsible. They're all in the Lowe's having conversations. They're all in the Home Depot and Lowe's having conversations. Because everybody's got cabin fever. I remember when people were saying, I just need a vacation. I'm tired of working. And guess what? The Most High heard them, sent them home, and they're still not satisfied.
Right. I ain't want to be home at the same time my children was home.
Right. People
Can't
don't
they
know how to
just go
take care of
somewhere?
yeah, people don't know how to take care of their own kids.
Ugh. All they doing is eating up everything.
I said that. Send them damn kids back. I was kidding.
They just eating up my damn house. They like termites. They like termites. They're termites.
I feel bad for those only children, you know. Only one child in the house. I feel really bad for them. Nobody to play with.
I'm sure they got stuff.
They got stuff, but nobody to play with. That stuff gets boring.
Yeah.
I mean, my kid had me ordering what do you call that stuff? The slime.
Mm-hmm.
More slime because the slime that she has is just not good enough anymore. So $50 worth of slime, yeah.
Some double dare shit. Y'all got double dare going on over there?
Oh, no, you didn't.
I did. I said that out loud.
Yeah, you said it.
Double dare.
That was my show. I was like, Ma, how can I get on that show? It was on Nickelodeon, right? It was great.
Over there playing double dare in the DJ Cat show. You remember that?
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, wow. It took me way back. That was the greatest. I love that TV show.
I'm about to take you off this broadcast. It's done. We're about to be done.
Oh, we done?
Dunskies.
Oh, we're
We're
done.
about to be done skiing. So what you got to say before we go?
Did you hear my small correction earlier
Which one?
about what Minister King Samir said?
What he said?
He said that they ain't come from no mountains. We ran them up in there. They're not from this planet.
That's
So,
right.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
They don't even belong in the clefts of the mount of the rock. So
We know where they belong.
so that's all I wanted to say. But you did very well.
What was the last thing you wanted to say before we go?
I wanted to say shalom, shalom, shalom.
Boom.